What's up? It's Noah. It's been a really interesting 24 hours. If you know, you know. I made a video regarding the whole please read your book stuff, which I'll be transparent and say that, yeah, I knew that that was kind of a hot button topic. But due to the fact that I had just commented on a bunch of his videos and was thanking him for his content, I figured I had a little bit of room to say something about it. The video kind of blew up when I posted it. I had 7 subscribers, and I think now I have 147. So that's a little wild. I don't really know what to do with that energy. Due to the nature of the internet, I'm sure some will stick around and some won't. That's fine. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. There was a little bit of pressure where I was kind of like, what do I do? Like, do I just make more content and kind of ride the wave, or do I just kind of like, oh, if I make intermittent videos, I can't talk tonight. The lighting in here is terrible. Like, which one's the better option? What do I do with this? With these new friends I have made, I guess. I just scratched my nose and that looked a little funny. I don't really know what to do with this video. I guess I'll call it like an update slash like what I'm about to read. And that's about it. I just want to say thanks for all the people who commented and watched that video. I feel like people are going to forget about it in a week. You know how the internet works. Hope the guy comes back. If not, that's a shame. So recently, the lighting in here is terrible. So these covers are going to look really like glary, which is I probably should just wait until the morning to do this, but I don't care. So recently I picked up Henry James's Portrait of a Lady. Now, I'm not really picky about covers. This is terrible. The lighting, but something about these Wordsworth classics I don't really care for. I'm not saying, I don't know, they look really childish, and I feel like that's really judgmental. But I saw this in my used bookstore, and I was like, that's the only cover they have? Like, I know for a fact there's like a Penguin classic, black and white and orange, and Barnes and Noble classics with like, it's kind of like made out of square looking things. I'm like 50 pages in so far. I think it's pretty decent. I think it seems to be kind of a slow burn, which is fine. It also seemed, I kind of skipped the preface and the introduction because I like to kind of just go in blind. And it seems to be about like women and trailblazing their own independence, which is always cool. Very early in on that. The next book I bought from my used bookstore was a nonfiction book called Runaway Slaves, Rebels on the Plantation. I'm going to try to do my best. This lighting is bad. Yeah, I mean, it's about what it says it's about. I haven't read this at all. Picked it up for $8.50. Let me see when this is published. Hold on. 1999. So, sometimes like I buy history books that are older on purpose because of the whole conspiracy stuff about, oh, they're changing our history books. So sometimes I'll just kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna buy like old history books for more of like an uncensored take, and like a snapshot of how things were treated at the time. Very interesting. So now the books I'm working on right now, or I just finished this book actually. I lied, sorry. This is a really bad cover for glare, but is Wallace Stegner and the Continental Vision, Essays on Literature, History, and Landscapes. This is a really good book. I'm slowly getting into like geography or geology or whatever. Like Aldo Leopold, Wallace Stegner, John Wesley Powell, John Muir, however you say his name. this is a collection of essays on history and landscape, and Wallace Stegner kind of has his hands in all the cookie jars. He's a big influence to like everybody that writes in this, and it's very important to me because throughout the years, I've learned that having like a place to call home. This might sound silly, but it's more important than a lot of people think. I've been living in the same place for a long time, and while it grinds my gears sometimes to live here, it also, I feel like if I went away for too long, there'd be a part of me missing. And that doesn't stop me from wanting to experience other things, but I don't know. It's kind of taught me too. I do a little bit of like writing of my own, and the reading this essay collection, this book right here, has kind of taught me that it's important to kind of keep your stories grounded, like in a time and place, and to demonstrate the possible inertia and movement throughout the place, whether it's characters moving whether it's characters coming and going, or living in a place. That kind of aspect is important. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I have a Goodreads. I don't know. I don't love Goodreads, but I do have one. I'm also reading John McPhee's In Control of Nature. Not the biggest fan of this, not because it's of poor quality. It's just kind of boring me to death. Like the subject matter and genre is something I don't have a problem with, but it's just about like a river and how all the dams that got built in the river are like pissing people off. And I don't know, it's weird because I just talked about Wallace Stegner, but then I'm talking about another book kind of in the same vein. Like it's definitely going a different direction, but it's kind of in the same realm, and I'm not enjoying this one. Like I thought about doing like a temporary DNF of this and then picking it back up later, which is kind of common for me. Sometimes I'll get like a third into a book and I'll like the writing, but I'm just like, I can tell something's not clicking. The last book I want to show, I've been reading on and off since I bought it about a year ago, is this is an NYRB, so the cover is kind of like glossy, so it's going to look really bad. But it is English Renaissance Poetry, a collection of shorter poems selected by John Williams of Stoner and Butcher's Crossing fame. John Williams is one of those authors. I think he kind of, like a year or two ago, had like a weird BookTube popularity phase. I'm not tied to him, but I live in a place that he lived for a little bit. So there's like that weird tie when you find out an author like lived in the same town you did. And so I've kind of had that weird like obsession where you're like, oh, let me look up I've looked up his writing style, what kind of style of prose he uses, like what his path in his education was, which I don't know if I'm weird, but like if I like an author, I will literally look up like what school did they go to, what degree did they get, what kind of path did they take, did they do MA, did they do MFA, like did BA, BS, like did they do any of that? And I'll kind of be like, oh, maybe I should model my college career after that. Wallace Stegner is actually kind of the guy I'm looking into right now, in terms of like how do I model my life to make myself happier, I guess, which is crazy. It probably sounds sad, but yeah. That's really it. I don't know what to do with his YouTube channel sometimes. I just kind of make what I want. But so that's it. Quick little update. Once again, thanks for all the feedback and the comments on the last video. Part of me feels a little odd doing that kind of content because I don't normally do that. But I had that itch that was like, I gotta say something because the stars are aligning and it makes sense, I also some of my new subscribers are booktubers that I've watched on and off for a while. Like I think I got a comment from Brian at Bookish. Randy Ray was in the comment section, which Randy Ray is funny. I think I left a comment saying like I was born and raised in Arkansas, so I kind of like I'm a football guy too, so I was kind of like raised to hate the Texas Longhorns, but it's all love. There was a couple other small channels. Now I feel bad because I only named a couple of them, but there was like Life on Books said something. A couple other channels said something, and I subscribed to most of them. After a while, the comments kind of just added up, and I was just like, I don't know how to respond to all these. I got like one weird comment about trying to have a dialogue about it, and I was like, the way it was said was kind of wild. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.